I'm so sorry, y'all. I keep forgetting. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb when you're making a video. This YouTube video thing is so new to me, but I thank God because he's confirming so much in my heart that this is what he's called me to do, is minister. Because, you know, like I'll be honest, like I'm not bragging, I'm not boasting, I'm just saying what I see God doing. So I made a couple, in the beginning I made a few videos, and I was not really consistent, but in my inconsistency I was still getting subscribers. I was still having people tell me that they were being encouraged, and I would just be like, I didn't even really say nothing. But you know, that's how we see it, because we're looking at our ministries from a point of inadequacy, but other people are seeing, and which is a good thing because it keeps us humble. But God is looking, our people are looking at us as encouragement, and I thank God for that. But anyway, moving on, my purpose of coming on here and making a video today, I just wanted to ride with y'all and tell y'all how God is a God of restoration, how he makes all things new. And sometimes he'll take some things from you just to show you how he can restore, just to show you how real he is in your life. So I don't think I shared this with you. I haven't. In 2019, I believe it was, yeah, in 2019, I lost everything to a house fire. All that I had was what was on my back, literally. At the time, I was going through a divorce, which I did make videos talking about, you know, how I went through the divorce. And fast forward, my ex-husband and I were in a good place. We have co-parented. We've came to a place of peace, and you know, we can now sit in the same room. Yay, right? But anyhow, I was going through a divorce. I was not in the process of divorce. I had pretty much started living my life one foot in and one foot outside the church doors. My relationship wasn't on point like it was. I was drawn out by the cares of the world, just like those seeds that God talks about when the word falls on the stony ground, the thistles and thorns. It began to basically fall on stony ground because of the way that I was living. And when I moved out of the house that my ex-husband and I shared, the house that I had moved into was possessed. It was a spirit in that house. I've never encountered having spirits in the house, but it was something in that house. To this day, I wonder what it was, but God hasn't allowed me to really understand what it was. I don't know why, but we're not gonna understand in everything. But first the spirit started, like, it was like knocking. It started with just, you know, knocking on the door. And, you know, like, I thought it was a person doing it. And so I would check the doors. I would check the windows. Every time I would hear a knock at the window, I would see nothing. And that went on for probably like a good month or two, possibly. You know, I'm checking the doors, checking the windows. Got cameras to put outside the house. We would hear knocking, but we would see nothing. It became stronger to where it started to unlock my doors. We would see the door being unlocked, but nothing was showing on the cameras. I had a camera in the tree. I had a Ring camera outside the door to catch motions. Nothing was detected. So when it started to snow, I moved in this house like around like August. And fast forward, this was happening like from August to like November-ish. So when it started to snow, it was like the end of November or something like that. It started to snow, and the knocking was still going on. So, you know me, I got a little bit excited when the knocking was going on in the snow, because I was like, yeah, they're gonna leave some type of evidence, because there has to be at least prints of feet in the snow. So one night it was like knocking like crazy on every window, knock, 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 knock. So I'm running, trying to look. I'm not seeing nothing. So I'm like, let me go outside and see, you know, what I could see. And I'll be transparent. At the time, I had bought a firearm because I was like, I'm a single mom now. You know, somebody's terrorizing us. Like, I need to be protected. You feel me? Like, I need to be protected. So I had got my firearm, and I had went outside, and I'm like, yeah, I'm about to see some fingerprints, you know. Ain't see nothing. And when I say, when that was revealed, it was like in that moment, the hairs on the backs of my neck was like standing straight up, like, what is this? What is this? So it started to manifest itself more. Like it was mostly like playing around with my children, and it almost like sowed seeds of discord in my household, because my daughter, she plays around a lot. she got to play too much, spirit, and she would be like, Mom, stuff be like moving. It's like the books fall off of the shelves and stuff, and I didn't see any of that happening. So I was like, girl, stop playing. You know, we just moved in a new house. I'm like, stop playing with me. You know, there's nothing going on. I haven't seen anything. Why are you saying that? And so she started to get like mad, like, Mom, you don't believe me. Like, you keep, you know, telling me that I'm playing around, and I'm so serious. This is what I'm seeing. And I'm like, I'm not seeing it. So I can only go off of what I'm seeing or not seeing. So let's see what time we are. We have 6 minutes. Okay, cool. So one day they were sitting at the table. They were sitting at the dining room table, and I was sitting down watching TV, but the TV room was like adjacent to the kitchen, to where like you can still see what's going on in the kitchen from the living room. So I'm sitting there on the couch watching TV, and the kids are eating, and all of a sudden this yellow coffee cup that I had just started to slowly slide down the table real slow, to where it was like, you are not gonna avoid me. I'm gonna be seen today. And all the way up until it fell off the table. And then my daughter was like, I told you. It was like a horror movie. My daughter was like, I told you. And I was like, oh my goodness. I knew right then and there that it was definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, something in the house. So then for whatever reason, it wanted to oppress my daughter. Like, it would like choke her. The one day she was like coughing, and she couldn't breathe in, but she kept coughing like outward. And so every time she coughed, more of her breath was leaving her body, and her skin, the color of her skin was changing. And I didn't know what to do. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to pat her back. I'm trying to, like, you know, like get her to, you know, stop choking, and, you know, for air to go into her. Nothing. So I said, Jesus, Jesus. And right then and there, like a clear cough, she started clearing herself out coughing. And after that, it was gone. She was nauseous, but the coughing was gone. She started hearing breathing at the foot of her bed at nighttime. Like, it never really terrorized me. You know, I would see things like sometimes like the bookshelf will fall over. I had a bookshelf with like crosses and Bibles and things like that. That bookshelf will fall over all the time. You know, sometimes it would write things on the mirrors like "get out." The one time it even put 3 Uno cards with 6 letters, number 6s, and I walked in boldness. I took 3 cards and I put 777. Like, yeah, as for me and my house, we depend on God. We remember the name of the Lord. So it started getting worse and worse. There was one day we came in from the mall, and I was trying on my clothes, and a knife flew across the kitchen, across the dining room, into my room. And it didn't get me. It kind of like fell before it could even touch me. It was like, and that went on for 8 months. All that stuff went on for 8 months. But it was like God had his hand on us that whole entire time, where we could have been consumed. But we were not consumed, because God said not so. Mercy said no. Like, CC Winans song, Mercy Said No, every time. Thank you, Jesus. Whew, just thinking about it. Mercy said no. So all that went on for months, and 8 months to be exact. We were going through that. I had my pastor come and bless the house. And it was calm for maybe an hour, and then it started up again. Like the oppression would start at nighttime. It was really active. The spirit was really active at nighttime. And my daughter was so scared that, like one time, for example, she had went to get into bed. As soon as she got into bed, her door slammed. I hear her feet storming, running into me, running into the house, or running into my room. And she was like, Mom, can I sleep with you? I'm like, come on, you can sleep with me. The next morning when she woke up, she had about 30 scratches all on her forearm. And there's been times where I had scratches. The one time I had 3 scratches, which kind of looks like, y'all know that, that logo on the Monster drink, that the 3, like, it's almost like a pitchfork or something. It was like, it looked like that. It was on my arm. Y'all, I promise y'all, nothing that I'm saying is a lie. Like this, as God is my witness, this happened. All this stuff happened for 8 months. And so what was going on in the house, before that started happening really bad, before it got really bad, I was living, like I said, I had 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I was still attending church, but my heart was far away from God. I was, fornicating, or I can even say being adulterous, because I was still legally married. Committing adultery, going to the clubs, drinking a lot, like smoking, doing, all manner of evil. But when this started happening, it was like, even though it was a bad thing, God had used it to bring me closer to him, which it did. And I started praying more. I started fasting more. I became so strong in the spirit. I became, more, to me, I was more stronger in the Lord than I've ever been in that time period. And when I started to be strong in the Lord, that's when that whatever was in the house started being, it was even more evil and even more stronger against my children and stuff. And so, like, there were times when my daughter would be like, Mom, there's a shadow running around. Because she would see shadows, she would see flies, she would see like 200 flies, but I couldn't see nothing. But I knew that when she would be like that, it was nothing but the devil. So I would lay hands on her and rebuke the enemy. And when I would do that, it was like things would start flying, like my plants would start flying off the wall towards me, and the enemy trying to scare me off. But I stayed, honey, flat-footed, shoulders back. I rebuke you, Satan, the Lord is against you. I bind, I was binding that thing up, and it was angry. And I feel like I need to make a part 2, because we already 13 minutes in. I'm going to work right now. I'm almost at my job. It's a long story. It's way longer than I thought it was going to be. So I'm going to make a part 2 to this. So stay tuned, because it's crazy. It's a crazy, it was a crazy experience. I don't want to say story. I had to change my word. It was a crazy experience. So stay tuned. I'll be back for part 2. All right.